What's going on, everybody? Shamy here, coming at you with a audio modding guide for Sparking Zero. I was requested by a few people to make this, and since I'm more or less done with modding the game for now anyway, I should probably make this so people can do it themselves and not have to ask anybody. And I'd like to make guides that are easy to follow. So, without further ado, let's get started. First thing you need is to obviously own the game, and while making this video, I'm going to make sure, you guys need to make sure that it's in a place where you guys can easily find it accessible to you, the directory. So, while recording this, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to pretend you guys have it on Steam, exactly like me, because there's a step later on where your pathways have to be the same in the bat file that I made for step 5, I think it was. If it's not, you guys have to change it to your guys' pathway. Like if you guys bought it on Epic Games, for instance, like you got to change the pathways in that file. But we'll get to that later. So for now, let's just go run through the basics. Once you get the game installed, right, however which way you have it, you want to download my Sparking Zero workshop that I'll leave in the description below to the video. And this is what's going to look like inside, like this. More or less in the same steps, in the numerical steps that you are going to be doing stuff in. As opposed to, and with regard to this one, which is not part of those steps, it's just basic other stuff you're going to need. We're not going to cover these two things. These are different things. I left it in here just for the sake of it. There's a different alternative method to modding the game, and there's a music modding guide, which is so much easier. It's like takes 2 minutes, as opposed to this very lengthy, difficult guide for voice modding. These we'll cover later, but pretty basic. Character IDs, whoever you're going to want to work on, are going to be in here, right? Yamcha. Oh, we want to work with Yamcha. It's going to be 0060_00, and the HCA keys that are associated with each character. So we just said Yamcha 60, right? So Yamcha's HCA key is this, and there's only JP here. There's no US because they use the same ones as JP. So Yamcha in 60, Yamcha in Japanese and in English uses this HCA key. So without further ado, before we get started modding, in case you guys are new to the game, you guys want to install. I put it in here for this reason. Otherwise, mods don't work. It's a very important step. Right here, I left this in the miscellaneous folder. You want to take the contents of the zip folder, and you want to download, you want to take them and you want to put them in your directory. I'll show you where to put them in the directory. I have a shortcut here to my tax folder. Okay, so go to your directory of your Sparking Zero. You want to put the contents of that bypass.utalk zip folder. I have it in the miscellaneous folder, right? You want to take those contents that are within the zip folder, and you want to put them in your Sparking Zero's directory in this area. Ready? Sparking Zero, binaries, Windows 64. You want to put them in here. Just drop them in here. I already have it in here too. It's this right here. I think it's plugins, and the two other things that were there was this one and that one, I believe. Once you have that set up, you're good to go. We're ready to start. So, oh, by the way, when you guys download the workshop, your virus protection might keep deleting it, because that's what happened before when I was trying to re-download it to record this, because it was kind of annoying. So just turn your virus protection off if you're having problems, if it keeps deleting. There's something in the workshop. There's something in here that's causing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's F-model. I have no idea. So if this keeps deleting on you when you're trying to download it to your desktop, just turn your virus protection off for the moment. Once it's downloaded on the desktop, you should be good. That's at least mine was having problems with it, my computer. So let's get started, okay? So today, we're going to be working with Dr. Giraud, versus himself. And I have two Family Guy lines. Dr. Hartman talking to Carter Pewterschmidt. I thought those were good lines for this. And real quick note, if he doesn't say them in the order he's supposed to, it's so be it. The purpose of this video is just to show you guys that you can mod the game's audio. So, I already went ahead before this video to prep. I had to find the lines I'm going to change over, the three of them. I'm going to change these two to the first line, which is right here, and I'm going to change this line to the second one. hoping that he'll say either one of these first. Either one of these two first, and then this one second. Like if he does, but I went to the game to test it. I think every character might have like a universally like 3 different intros that are not signature or unique. When they're not facing someone unique to them, they might just have these 3 over and over again. It must be like that. But I had Dr. Gero face himself a couple times, and he would say this one, then that one. Then he'd say this one, then that one. Then he might even done this one 2 times in a row, this one 2 times in a row. So it's just random. So at the end of the video, if he says the second line first and then the first line, it's so be it. I mean, I can't control what order he says them in. I just hope he says it in order. I hope he says line 1 and then line 2, just for comical purposes. But it doesn't matter. Who gives it? Who gives a hoot? Okay, let's see. Let's get started. Okay, so first thing you guys want to do is extract the audio for the game. So how do you do that? You open fmodel. I had fmodel backed up in here, but it should already be in your first folder, unextracted. I'm sorry, extracted. So you open it. You set the directory to sparking 0. Hopefully it's already detected somewhere in here. If it's not, you're gonna have to add it and set it to these parameters. Game underscore UE5 underscore 4, and all this directory the game's in. Press OK. Then for the AES key, I already have it set here, but if you don't have anything there, I put the AES key of the game right here. So you guys can copy and paste it into this little slot. Once it's set up, right, once you do those 2 things, press load. Before you do load though, make sure loading mode is all, and press load. Once you press load, it'll open to this. You're gonna need 2 things now in this folder. I mean, in the game's directory. You're gonna need the AWB of the character you're working with and the U asset of that character. So Dr. Gero's character ID is, let's go find out together. It's Dr. Gero. 480. Dr. Gero's 480. So we need to find 480 in the files. So let's go open it up. Sparking 0, content, SS, sound, and you know, if you're making video, you're making mods for like in battle, they're gonna be in here. If you guys are trying to change mods with the like the main menu, Goku talking to Whis or Master Roshi or Krillin in the shop area, I don't know. I didn't make mods for those things, but if we're just for the sake of this video, we're making a mod for like in battle. So we're gonna go into the US folder, like English voices instead of the Japanese. So in here, everything's in order. We're gonna find 480. There it is. We're gonna press right click and press export raw data. Now I should have made an output folder in the fmodel folder of my workshop, but before we go back there, we have to get one more thing, the AWB, if you remember me saying that. So let's go up to packages and press search, and we're gonna type in, just to hone in on it faster, like that. And now we'll look for 480p, 480.awb. Where is it? There. Right click again, export raw data. Boom. And we're done with fmodel. We're done. So in fmodel, which I was just in, right there, it's gonna make this right here for you, an output folder. And in the output folder, you want to go to exports, sparking 0, contents, cryware data. You want to take this, put it on the desktop, your AWB, and you want to take the U asset that you extracted as well. Put these on the main desktop. Okay. And I already have an empty folder here to put everything we're going to be working with. We're working with Dr. Gero, so we're going to put these in here. And yeah, so next step, hex editor. Oh, I failed to put this in the workshop, but guys, you're going to need hex editor, which you can download on Google, and foobar 2000 right here, these 2 things. Hex editor and foobar, I usually use these for everything I'm modding, and Audacity, whatever. These 3 things are essential in modding, or at least that's what I use. So you're going to need these. These are all accessible on Google, and when you download foobar, which helps you view and convert in-game audio to waves and stuff. If you're gonna download on Google, make sure you get the plugins for it that are necessary. If it doesn't start playing the audio you need, just make sure you get the plugins for. Like if it can't run the AWB files, whatever, just make sure you get the plugins necessary for foobar to work. It needs like 1 to 2. I think it's just 1 though. So make sure once you get your foobar and hex editor set up, then we can continue with these steps. So open hex editor, and you want to open up your UAsset. You want to go to search, find, and you want to find the first instance of at UTF. And you want to go right before the at, and you want to do, I think, Shift, Control, and Home. So you can highlight everything above the at UTF, and you want to delete it. And then you want to save as. You want to save as this, and you want to type .acb. There it is. There it is right there. We're going to put it in this folder as well. Now, we need to, what else do we need to gather? We need to open step 2. And in step 2, we want to take our newly created ACB and we want to drag this into ACB editor in the folder 2 of our workshop. And it creates this folder with all our HCA keys, our lines that are in HCA format for Dr. Giraud. Okay, and what's next? I think before we start tweaking our lines, we want to, oh yeah, there's one thing I want to grab for you guys. You should grab it in I have an example folder, but if you wanted to start viewing these lines right here in your foobar, if you click this right now, it's going to sound like Alvin the Chipmunk. So this one thing you're going to need, I put in the workshop, and I had in every character I worked on's folders, and it's the same one. You can use the same one for all of them. But in my dub folder, you guys could use this if you want to store your characters you make, like right here, this one in here. I left one behind for you guys to see. I made Kid Goku, his original voice, which I've released to everyone publicly. I left it in here as an example. Everything that when all said and done, this is what this is going to look like. If you want to keep everything, you don't have to keep everything like I did, but I have original versions of all the files just in case something gets messed up. Take this Kid Goku's folder, put it in here. This will help you be able to hear these lines in Dr. Giraud's AWB. So let's listen to a couple.
If you won't obey me, then I'll have to destroy you. Pesky bug! I will drain the life out of you until there is nothing left!
Okay, so that's a couple of his lines. Those are 2 of the lines right there at the end that we're going to be modding over. So, exit out of that. And, so once you have this right here, right, I recommend, making a backup. These are because from here on out we're going to start tweaking things, and some of these are going to start being like modified, like this and this, right? Like these 2 and this, and if something gets messed up, they're going to get corrupted. So make sure you make a backup of this folder in general. So let's just take this, let's copy it, let's paste it. See? Oh, I already had one copied, but once you have a copy, just put it over here, just in case, want an original version of anything we just pulled from the game and got set up. Okay, so let's start modding the lines. We're going to change over. So I'm going to open up Audacity, and I already had the lines I'm going to change on the desktop, but if you want to extract them, obviously you're just going to you're going to open up the AWB file.
If you won't obey me,
and you're going to if you're gonna change all the characters' voice lines and whatever you're working on, you're just gonna highlight all of them. Control A, you can right click, convert, default, and then it's gonna save to wherever you have it. You set it to. I don't want to click this because it might go to the desktop with like all 200. I don't know what happens after this when I click this, but that's how you convert it, and you're gonna get these. It's gonna shoot these out. as waves, I believe. Yes, wave files. Okay, we'll start tweaking these lines. So, I'm going to take the line we're going to change them to. This is the first line I hope he says. We're going to change it to Dr. Giroux's 9th line and his 15th line. Cancel that out. And we're going to copy a second line to his 8th line, hoping that's the second line he says. And what I'm doing here is just to save myself time. I'm copying the lines I'm going to, the new modded lines, right into the file like this, so I can just press export multiple and it'll just save right to the desktop right over these without me having to press export as wave and then type them out over and over again. I just want to save myself time by copying those new lines right into the originals and doing this. Make sure this is set to this too, otherwise it'll also not work. Sometimes I accidentally, this changes when I'm going through here and then it's annoying. So overwrite existing files, yep, export. Okay, now they should be different. Let's go see.
Pesky bug!
Oh, never mind. I must have saved it to, let's see where I saved it to. Oh, I already have it saved into this folder. You guys can do this too if you want. I have the files I save over to, in here, in the workshop, right into step 4. In the batch convert, right in here. Okay, let's see.
Well, there's only so many voices in the world.
Okay, they're there. So, what we do now, and this is if you guys wish, this is also part of, like, if you'll see in Kid Goku's examples, I have his, once you guys are done picking all the lines you're going to pick, I keep them all in a folder called dub pre-edit. And before pre-editing is like before you're going to tweak the volume control when you're going into the game, and some lines are lower than normal, but that's not even tampered with. You leave this has nothing to do with it. It's in here. This is where everything gets modified. If you don't like the volume, when you're in game, this is where those final versions are going to be, and they're going to have to be renamed to these. This is their final names that get pulled up from the game's file, coding or filing or whatever. And we're only changing 3 lines. So this is 8 is not going to be 00, by the way. You're gonna if we changed all the lines, like if I was changing all of Dr. Giroux to all of SpongeBob or something, or all of Dr. Hartman or Carter, Pewterschmidt, whoever I'm changing them to, let's just add all of his lines, all 200 something lines for Dr. Giroux, starting at number 1. I think that's what number it starts at. Let's see. Yes, it starts at number 1. It doesn't start at 0. Obviously, barring the numbers here. This is Kid Goku. This is Dr. Giroux. But yeah. You want to start at whatever number you're tweaking the lines to. If you're doing all of them, start at 0. Right here, see? Start at 0. I'm going to copy the number we're starting on. So, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, obviously it's just going to be, this one's starting at 0, and that one's starting at 1. So everything, whatever we're in here, is just going to be 1 less of what it is. So, this is 7. This is obviously going to be 8. And then 15 will be, I'm assuming, 14. Because this one, because like I said, this one starts at 0. This one's at, I'm sorry, this one right here starts at 1, like, which is what the original numbers were called. Alright, so we're ready to batch them over. Let's batch them over. And how do you batch them? You guys can put these away. I don't really feel like explaining this. This is confusing. What I was doing, I left them here for you guys, is I left a couple examples. Let's just take Broly's. Put it right there. Let's already change the name to what we're going to be working on. Let's change it to Dr. Giroux. Oh, Dr. Giroux. There we go. So we're going to edit this bat file. And what are we going to change in here? Just this right here. We're going to change this HCA key to Dr. Giroux's instead of Broly's. So we got to go back into our miscellaneous folder, pull up the Excel sheet for the Sparking Zero characters. Dr. Giroux's 480. There it is. This is HCA key. Make sure you get the right one. Copy it. Change only this. Make sure you don't take away the space between the key code, the E, like the E right there, and this. There has to be a space, and I'll show you in a second. There's a new thing that kind of changes a little bit. Make sure there's just one space after the final number for the dash out format, whatever. Right here. Make sure there's a. Don't do this. Make sure there's a space there, just in case. I'm just trying to help you guys, just in case it makes it like changes like a space or something, like you just saw it do at the end of it. Save it. Close it. Now that's modified to your liking, to the character you're working with. You can just simply click this over and over again. If you're just coming in and out, tweaking things, testing it over and over, right? Just want to click this. And it spits out the HCA versions of these lines with their numbering, right? So, what do we do with these? Well, you take them. Why is this over here? Over here. You take them and you overwrite the ones that are in here that we made earlier. This folder that we made earlier. So you want to take our new modified lines, drag them into here, replace them. Replaced. Now we go back to step 2 step 2's folder momentarily. We're going to use, and just like when we dragged this before into ACB editor, like this one right here, to create this, we're going to re-drag this into there to, I guess, remodify this one to our new version. There it is. And how do you check to see if it went in? You can click on the AWB in here.
If you won't obey me...
You know, Peter says we sound alike. Seems... Well, there's only so many voices in the world,
Are you some sort of dupe?
You know, Peter says we sound alike.
There it is. See? So they went in. That's how you check to see if they went in or not. But we're not done yet. We now need to repack them into the game. So let's repack them in. How do you do that? Let's open up Hex Editor. Let's open up our UAsset that's in here. And our modified ACB. And before we do anything here, let's just take a copy of our UAsset out here. And let's go drag it into step 5's folder. You'll see why in a second. Just so you can save over it and they'll have the name there for us. We don't have to type it out. So when you go into step 5, when you go into step 5's folder, right here, go all the way into the pathway. I have it set up for you guys already. If you leave it on the desktop, like leave your workshop on the desktop, it's very finicky. Do not put this in like a folder in your like documents or something, right? We'll paste the UAsset in here. Let me go back out and explain to you a second what I just meant by that. Right out here, this is what I was talking about before, right in the beginning of the video. If you bought your game on like Epic Games or something, you're gonna have a different address pathway to your game than mine. So make sure you change this to what it needs to be, the game directory of your game, all the way to the packs folder. Right? All the way to this, you get to packs, and then stop at packs. And then output path, all the way to your same directory. Start at the same area. All you're gonna do is after packs is put a dash, and it's gonna be. We'll get to this in a second. I don't want to get to that yet. So just wanted to clarify to you guys what I meant by that earlier in the video. So let's go back to Hex Editor. Go back to Hex Editor. We're gonna open our ACB tab. Anywhere in here, click anywhere in here, click Control A. Have everything highlighted. Copy it. Go back to the UAsset tab. We're gonna search for the first instance of @UTF again. Press OK. Now go right before the @UTF and press Control B to highlight everything that it highlights. And everything in red, you're going to want to replace this. So you're going to press Edit, Paste, Insert. Boom. It was just replaced. Now everything below, all this jargon that's left over, I was told by somebody that you just need to zero these out. I think you can leave it the way they are, but just to be on the safe side, just do what the people say to do. And you don't have muck, essentially, at the end of your mod file. So go right to where you start seeing only zeros again, anywhere in here. And then there's a tip I'm telling you guys, instead of having to click just right before, after, I mean the thing you just replaced and start putting zeros yourself, you can just click right to where it starts, all the extra stuff, and just make sure you get to all the zeros. And you can just press Edit, Fill Selection with nothing but zeros. and it should already be set to that, but if it's not, put 0 zeros here, press OK. Boom, everything turned to zeros. Press File, Save As. And we're going to save this to our Sparking Zero Workshops Step 5 folder. Here, here, here. Boom. We're going to save that as this. Replace? Yes. Okay. So we're almost done here. I think we're done with this. We're going to minimize that. One last thing you guys need to put into those folders is open up your Dr. Giro folder, or whoever you're working on. Get a copy of your AWB that's also modified. You're going to put it in your Step 6 folder. And this is what it looks like inside the Step 6 folder. Put it in your mod, Sparking Zero, content, Cryware data. Put it in here, because we're reverse packing everything into its direct, its pathways. Back up. Now, let's get our files we need for our mod. We're going to go to, we're going to go back to Step 5 here. Right, go to Step 5 folder. And the bat here, if you guys want to do this step, you can or should. Right in here, like I told you, I opened this up like 2 minutes ago. If you want to change this right down here to what they want it to be called, as long as it ends in --P, right? Uppercase P. Make sure it always ends in this. You can leave this the same, but I recommend changing it to, so you know what it is. I mean, you're obviously going to make it your packs folder, which is right here. Let me go to it real quickly. Right here, see this? I already have the folder made here. See? I made it before. I'll do it again. You're going to put them in here. We're about to spit them out, but I'm going to call them that. So I'm going to change this to Dr. _Giro, and then it's going to have _P. Save it. Quit out of it. Sorry. Let's go back into it. Step 5 in folder 5. We're going to click the bat. Just click it. And it should spit out in your packs folder of your game, which I have a shortcut to right here. There it is. It'll spit out the 3 files you're going to need. We're going to take them by cutting them and pasting them in our mods folder in this Dr. Giro folder. Now we're still not done. We just need to take this pack and we're going to replace it with the one from Step 6. So let's go back to our workshop real quick and go grab that, and by creating it first. So we're going to take our AWB is already in here, all the way inside of it. So we're going to just grab this mod folder and we're going to drag it into Unreal Pack with compression, which is down here. Do the with compression one. See, don't do without compression. Just do this one. I don't think you're ever going to need this. Just do this one. There you go. We created it. Exit out of it. And it'll be right here. It'll make this. And the name will probably just be what this folder is called. So we're going to take this, cut it, put it into our Dr. Giro mod folder. And the last thing we're going to do before we go test in game is take the name of this. We're going to delete this, right? Delete the one that came out with the other, spit out with those other 2, right? Delete it. And we're going to change the name of this final one that we made with Step 6 to that name. See? That's it. And if everything works right with your mod, it should show up in game. So let's go test it right now. And I'm not going to talk because I'm recording with my phone. And I don't want to... I'm going to have to delete the audio of the game. So it's not me talking. So I'm not going to talk to you guys till it's done saying the line. So let's go load all the way into the game and then I'll quit the game and I'll wrap up with you guys. So here we go. Let's go test it. Hopefully it says the line's in order too.
Huh? Gohan's here too!
You know, Peter says we sound alike. Seems lazy, doesn't it? Well, there's only so many voices in the world. Some of them are bound to be similar.
Yep, so there you guys have it. The lines were said in the appropriate order, thankfully, and yeah, that's how you mod this game's audio. I hope you guys enjoyed. I wish you luck on your own creations, and until the next audio guide, peace.